Alright, today in our 2015 TXT ezgo, we're going to be putting in the Cloud Energy 51.2 volt 60 amp hour, which will be about equivalent of a lead acid pack, an onboard charger, and their specific gauge. Now we can go put this in. Go for a So we got all the battery cables off, got the support out. On our negative side, we're going to want to take the two wires that are there and zip tie them together, kind of like so. One-handed isn't always easy. What this will do is this will make it so you can take everything out and then we know where everything goes back. Doesn't need to be tight, just holds them together. And then I'm going to do the same over here with the positive wires. I'm going to do the same over here with the three positive wires, and we'll go through it a little bit more later on about bypassing the reed switch, but whenever you're taking the batteries out, it's just much easier to do it this way. Just like so. Now we can take the batteries out. Okay, we're probably gonna have to cut these tabs out right here. You know this is 10 1/4. My battery is just over 10, like 10 1/8. So what you can do is take the battery, see if it's gonna fit between those rails like we think it is, which it is. So we just gotta take those tabs out and then make a plate for the bottom, and then we can mount the battery. Okay, so all we're going to do is just take a cutoff wheel and trim these out. Okay, you can see we got one side done. Now you're going to do the same on this one. And for the other side of this, we have nice clean flat surface. We'll come right back after that's all done. Alright, now that we have all four spots ground down and those clips removed, I went and made a template out of just some gold cardstock. It's 10 1/4 by 22, but just double check your own cart just in case. And it's an actually nice tight fit, which is exactly what we want. See if the back is the same, which it should be. That's also about the same, a little tight. So now we'll cut this out of our plastic and put it in. Okay, we got our two plastic sheets cut, got our battery sitting in there. So now we know everything will fit. We're going to take this all out, clean up the tray, paint the plastic, and then we'll mount the battery with some screws right into the metal framing. What we're going to use is just some Rust-Oleum undercoating spray to keep it protected. Oh, and we did put something underneath so we don't spray all over the ground. Okay, what we're going to do is take this charge board out. There's a couple screws on the back that we take out, and then those four rivets. So we'll drill those out, take those screws off, and pop it out. This will pull right off once you get the other two screws out. Pulls right off. Now what we need to do, drill out these 4 rivets. And just like that, we're all set. So we'll clean this up, get that sticker off, and I'll show you the plate that I have to go on there too. GoPro. So we're going to take our plate, which unfortunately I only got one bolt hole that lines up, and it looks like they sent me one that's for a 36 volt, not a 48 volt. So I'll have to order a new one of these. I have this mic tuning. It's also kind of like a NOCO 1. What it is it's going to let us have the charger on board. Plug in a regular extension cord just to charge. Go in here like this. Mount like this once we get our new plate. So for now, I'm just going to leave this hanging. Alright, one thing that we should do while we're waiting for all this is I'm going to show you what to do with these wires right here. The black, the gray, and the red. We don't need any more. The blue, which goes into the orange wire here. We're going to have to put a ring terminal on that and bring it back to the positive side of the battery. So we're going to disconnect this. That's going to go back all the way over here, so we're going to need that. But these guys we don't need anymore, so that only leaves us with this for the positive, and this, this for the positive, and this for the positive, and this we can throw away. Okay, now we're going to put in our panels, which just drop right in. There's 1, 2. Now we're going to be sticking the battery in, so try to get these out of the way to give us a little more space here. Alright, we got that in there. Now what we're going to do is throw in a couple self-tappers to hold it in place. Go right through the bracket, right through frame here, and it looks like I'm going to need a longer extension. Try this again. Okay, take our self-tapper and go right through one of our mounting holes right into the frame of the golf cart here. Okay, that one's going to line up with that. Do another one right here. It is a little bit tight. You could mark these and pre-drill these. I'm just being lazy. We have that marked. Slide this out of the way. Now we have them both started. Slide the battery back. Lock them down. Just lock that side down too. So normally what I would do is I'll put another piece right underneath so we can lock that down. But I actually did that off camera already. So I'll just go. Alright, now it's going the right way. And the battery is off. Always make sure the battery is off when you're doing stuff. Now we're good. Now it's not going anywhere. Okay, now we're going to mount our onboard charger, which I like to do over here. Find a spot where you're going to be able to get at least 2 or 3 screws in, just like so. And I'm going to do it the same way with our self tappers right here. Get 3 in, which will be more than enough. Like that. And now we're going to take our interlock wire, bring that over our charging cable extension, which looks like, yeah, I gotta cut that. So we need this cord to come over there, which looks like we'll be able to do that. See if we can tuck this behind the body. Perfect. Just like so. Keep it nice and neat, nice and up high. I'm gonna have that. Yeah, that'll go all the way across. Let's see about that. Helps if you go through in the middle of the bar. I'll show you guys in a second. Right here. When I end up tying it up just like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take our cord as discussed, which I may change up how I have this for a second. Like that. Okay, this which will go like this, and then that'll come down right where we need it. Perfect. So this will zip tie right there, I think. Yeah. I know you can't see it. I'll show you once it's finished in a second here. All right. I'll be able to go there. I'll be able to go there. Perfect. Got a positive wire here, a negative here. Alright, so we have our positive from the charger. We have our negative and a negative from the charger. I gotta clean that. And then we have that interlock wire I was talking about. So this is coming from over here. So you want to figure out roughly how long we want it, which if we put the ring channel right at the end, we'll be in pretty good shape. But what I do like to do is leave a little bit of room just in case you ever want to put it back on and go back to a regular charger and lead acid. Heat shrink. volt test. All right, and I gotta get my lighter. All right, so what I do is I got a heat shrink here and then another heat shrink piece there. So I'm gonna shrink this piece first. And slide this guy up right here. Now we have a nice weather tight connection. So now what we can do, you always want to start biggest to smallest. This is going to be pretty straightforward though, as we only have 2 wires. I don't have 12-volt converter in this cart, at least not yet. But the negative is further, so I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to take our negative cable, our negative charge cable, and if we had a 12-volt converter, the 12-volt converter would actually go in between them because it would take a little bit more amperage. And then we're gonna actually put a loop in this. Nice and tight down here. Get this started. I'm going to do the same for the positive. We have our positive lead, we have our charger, and we have our interlock. So interlock, charger, battery. And we're going to have to loop that one too. There we go, that'll work. That's what we want to be. So again, interlock, charger, battery terminal. Always start them by hand. We adjust our wires to where we want them. We have this kind of neat. Take a 1/2 inch. Snug it up. An 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn. This one spun on me. It's not what I wanted. So I want to be able to put the caps on. So you have to hold the wires in place if you don't want them to spin. Like that. This one spun a little too. Alright, we'll get our caps. Positive cap, negative cap. Okay, now we need to run the gauge, but before we do that, we can always check for cart operation. So I'm gonna turn it on, nothing pops. Run mode. Grab our key. We got reverse noise. Solenoid clicks. And we got cart movement. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, we're good there. Shut that off. Shut the battery off. Alright, now we're going to be running the gauge, which has two ends. The end that goes to the battery and the end that goes to the gauge. So what I like to do is there's actually a hole right here. You can drill that right out, run the wire right up, and that's going to come right into our top compartment. Kind of like so. Should be good. Yeah. So I can feed that in there. And what we're going to do is feed it right down here. Zip tie it all the way along. Right in this channel right here. And then down and around underneath to the battery compartment. I'll show you when we get there. Alright, so what I did, put a couple screws in right here for the gauge. Wire goes in there. Comes out that hole right there. Goes down the frame like so. Comes up right here. Right here. I coiled up the extra and brought it all the way across. And then it plugs into the battery right there in that silver connector. So we have our charge coming in. I still gotta get that plate. Charger plugs in there, and then I'll coil all that up and make that all nice and neat once I get that plug all situated. And I'll just show you how that works also. So make sure, yeah, our battery is on. All right, on the gauge. I'm sure you can kind of see this here. We have 76%. There's no current being drawn. 53.2 is the voltage of the pack. 81 degrees Fahrenheit, which is nice about Cloud Energy. They're one of the few that actually does Fahrenheit on their gauges. And the time to empty, just 918 hours because there's no draw. Go to page 2, you can turn the battery discharge on and off, the battery charging on and off. Tells you how many amp hours you have left, your max temp, your min temp. You can see how many cycles it has, which this is still on its first cycle. Nominal means normal. And if you go to page 3, you can see all the different voltages of the cells. Or back to page 1. And the way this gauge works is when it sees a draw, it'll turn on, and when it sees no draw for a few minutes, it'll shut itself off. And now what we're going to do is take our extension cord, plug that into our port. Our fan kicked on. And then right here, you can see that we're getting 19.3, 19.7, almost 20 amps of charge going into the battery, and that'll automatically stop once it gets full. And any questions, comments, leave them down below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And if you can like, subscribe, share the video, go for it. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.